and we found him with his horns intact and his jaw still attached to his top, but just his spinal column. The rest of it was gone. And Brian and I, we did a little segment where Nigel was pretending to narrate his own death, because as I held him by his horns and moved him around, his jaw moved up and down, and it looked like he was talking. So we narrated his death through his own voice, really. And we then put him in a plastic container full of flesh-eating beetles. And Tony, you're wondering, has he been cleaned of all of his flesh? He hasn't yet, and it's because it's winter. And what Yuri describes, Yuri's the landowner here, what he describes as the committee, and the committee is what he refers to as the collection of beetles he has. The committee has not been very busy of late because it's been cold, and they haven't been breeding much because he hasn't been clearing up many skeletons of late. But there were a few members of the committee left, and Nigel is doing his very best to reignite their existence. So he's still in his plastic casing full of beetles, and hopefully sometime soon we'll be able to show you to him. Alright, Jamie's predictions of elephants drinking has come true. Let's go and take a look.
When I was a child, there was this incredible advert in South Africa, on South African television, for one of the paints companies. I can't remember what it was, and it was two elephants having a marvelous mud bath to a very catchy tune, and I cannot help but be reminded of that particular advert right now, when we've got two young bulls having a marvelous time and providing us with such a stunning scene at 3 in a row / 2 in a row pan on Cheetah Plains, and going right into the muddy water to get to the best possible spots to quench their thirst. Nobody's all that keen on actually soaking themselves. It's not that warm this afternoon. While we enjoy this incredible view, Janae has been carefully observing our elephants' drinking behavior and has noticed the strange tendency of them to blow bubbles. Well, Janae, the reason that they do that is often to clear away scum on the top of the water, or sand on the top of the water. That might be one way. They also they sort of siphon off the dirty water and then get to the clean water underneath it. Elephants are quite fussy drinkers. But that being said, sometimes they just do it because it's fun. They do it because they enjoy it. And that's the marvelous thing about elephants, is they entertain themselves. They've got so much going on in those minds of theirs, and sometimes blowing bubbles or squelching through the mud is a way of alleviating a little bit of the boredom of the day-to-day life. What do you think, boy, as you squelch your way out with your mud boots? Very gracefully done. You better hurry up, the rest of your herd has left you behind. He's in no hurry, he's got the teenage saunter down. The quiet insouciance of a teenage male elephant. I still hear some talking happening from the other side, but these two are too old and grown up for that. They're just going to subtly move behind the rest of the herd. Now that all-purpose trunk, used for drinking, eating, blowing bubbles for fun, sniffing other elephants, touching other elephants, whatever else it happens to be, Nisha, yes, one of the things that they do use it for is breathing, like a nose, like we breathe through our noses. And they regularly do that. And in fact, an elephant is one of the few animals that is basically able to completely submerge itself. I'm talking land mammals, that is, able to completely submerge itself and use the trunk as a snorkel. How cool is that? That's how elephants in Botswana and places where there's huge bodies of water, that's how they cross those bodies of water. They can swim. They're very good. I wouldn't call them... Look, they're not going to win any. Oh. Hello. Our elephants are coming, sneaking up behind us for a drink as well. How wonderful. Hello everybody. It's okay, don't mind me. I'm sorry, I planted myself right here. Told you, this place is teeming with elephants. Today's an elephant-filled afternoon. Hi guys. Come have a drink, don't mind me. They're parting around us on either side like an ocean or a river. Hello big girl. Hello big girl. Don't mind us. My apologies. You're coming to go and have a drink in the dam. Each. They've just walked straight past the water, so they're not thirsty. And of course they're hungry, they need to eat pretty much constantly. But what makes them decide, okay, today we are going to the northern side of Mala Mala. I mean, they're striding forward, they're on a mission. They're going somewhere. What's been said? What's going on in their brains that they've decided that this is now time to move, not time to stand and feed for ages on a bush willow. I wish I could end today's existence. As for Waterbuck, well, I'm not entirely sure, but let's go and see if we can't figure out what this one is thinking about.
It's party time. Yeah. Yes.
And it seems as though, unfortunately, James couldn't hear anything that poor Lou was trying to tell him. Oh, let us go and catch up with our elephant herd, while James attempts to figure out his ability to hear final control. We're going to leave our elephant herd for now and watch them disappear distance. I'm distracted by the disappearing elephants for me to put on a jacket because it's quite chilly now. Now just bear with me one moment. I'm just going to hop onto the Game Drive channel and try and get hold of James, for it seems as though he has disappeared off the radar completely. Sorry, Mike. Interrupt him mid-sentence. My mistake. Sorry about that, Mike. James for Jamie. Oh, nope, James has gone rogue. Oh, there he is. I'm calling you, James. Is back and he comforted with the knowledge that he will be easily contactable very, very shortly through the normal route. I will allow James to explain that to you when he next sees you. But he will be imminently contactable. Whoopsies. Oh well, joys of live safaris. Sometimes things go wrong, sometimes you get an unexpectedly behind the scenes view, an unexpectedly and often unintentional behind the scenes view. Oh well, James figures out his radio situation. You can travel along with me to the Cheetah Plains clearings. And there we go. Oh, all is well. The Inyala is still around. Let's go to James.
I do apologise, everybody. I managed to hit the radio so that I was on the completely wrong channel. I'm very pleased that neither Brian nor I said anything untoward during our last segment, which we were unaware of course. We are now looking at a very large herd of Nyala making their way. Well, I'm not sure where they're going. They might be going down towards the Djuma Pan. Sorry, I saw some fast movement and I thought it might be wild dogs. It isn't. It is a vehicle. And you can just see their lovely, lovely colours as the sun sets. These, of course, the females of that magnificent bull we saw earlier chewing on his bone. I think they're looking pretty good, Nick. I don't think they're looking like they're suffering at all as a result of the dryness. So they're obviously finding sufficient bones to suck on and sufficient leaves to eat. Now I say it's a large herd because normally it's sort of 4 or 5 females maybe, and there are a few here. There are 4 or 5 here plus a bull, and then a whole lot more have just crossed the road in front of us with some calves. I'm not going to go forward because they'll get a bit of a fright. We'll just sit here and watch them cross the road in their superbly elegant fashion. Don't you think they're elegant, Brian?
So elegant.
Almost as elegant as Brian is tall. Oh, and I don't know if you can hear in the background, there is a crested barbet calling. Hello, Pierre. Nice question from you about territoriality. And you say, are these antelope territorial? Sometimes they are. And if you impala are territorial during the rut, so when they're trying to mate, they make a little territory and they try and herd the females into it. Wildebeest the same. They become territorial during mating season. And the Nyala will to a certain extent. But largely they're not. They don't have permanent territories. And their territories and home ranges shrink and swell depending on the conditions. Depending on how much water there is, how much vegetation there is for them to eat. They are water dependent. And so their territories will shrink. They can't afford to be too territorial. If water, for example, is as concentrated as it is now. I'm always quite interested in what they're eating. A very, very good question from Aaron in Florida, and I think I know the answer to it. You say, would different antelope species fight with each other? Aaron, I'm going to say no, and the reason I'm going to say no is because they're normally completely different sizes. So a Nyala would very seldom try and take on a kudu, or in fact I don't think it'd ever take on a kudu bull because a kudu bull is much bigger than him. Likewise a bushbuck, which is the other tragelaphid or spiral-horned antelope that we get here, well they wouldn't take on a Nyala because a Nyala is that much bigger. I don't think an impala would take on a Nyala. They have separate kind of feeding niches, so they wouldn't take each other on. Duiker and Steenbok, likewise, they're different sizes, slightly different feeding niches. There's no real reason for them to take each other on, except maybe over water, but there the size difference I think would preclude it. If you're bigger, the bigger you are, the more you get to, or the more premier your position becomes at a drinking hole. So I think that's pretty much what happens. I've never seen inter-antelope species fighting. Speaking of another antelope, there's an impala, ram. Now, to me, he looks a lot more ropey. In fact, he looks very ropey. Much more ropey than the Nyalas. And I think there's a good reason for that. I think that you'll find that many animals out here, of course, some of them will show or be carrying diseases in a parasite load that perhaps wouldn't affect them at all, were it not for the fact that they're now struggling to find enough to eat. So only the strongest animals are going to survive. if the drought continues. And therefore, that's the other reason that impala is looking ropey, is that he's chasing girls around, which means that he will be forgetting to eat. There's a beautiful bull, Nyala bull there, with some impala cow in the middle, and then another Nyala cow behind. There you can see the wonderful difference between the two. And that's not 3 species you're looking at, it's only 2. Male Nyala, and female impala. And oxpecker having mud bath. Not mud bath, dust bath, sorry. James Dungan, you've asked a question to which there are about 7,000 theories, none of which I think hold particularly good water. You say, why do antelope like Nyala have white spots around their mouths? I don't know, James. One of the theories with the kudu, or not the kudu, the Nyala, is that they have white tips to the horns and those white chevrons and dots under their noses, and they can size each other up by judging the distance between those white dots and the white tips to the horns. I think that's utter nonsense. I think they size each other up without such a ridiculously complex method there. So I don't know. I think it's probably got much to do with them being disguised or trying to camouflage themselves. They live in dappled light always. They live in thick bush fringing drainage lines where the light is dappled. And so what I think they try and do is sort of blend in with that in much the same way that a leopard does. Right, Jamie, the elephant whisperer of Djuma, has got some more elephants. Let's go and look.
Oh goodness, we do. We've got elephants everywhere. There's more coming. They're doing their water walk. There's another word, Jandre. Water, 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 water. I'm so thirsty. I'm so thirsty. I'm so thirsty. I'm so thirsty. Oh, distraction, but water. Okay. All right, I'll calm down a little bit. Oh, this has been such a wonderful afternoon surrounded by elephants having a drink, and I think this is the place to be. Cheetah Plains Pan. You thirsty little one, careful. Don't rush into things or you might fall down. It just goes to never forget that an elephant is phenomenally nimble. They are nimble creatures. Okay, I mean, they're not as nimble as, say, a dainty genet or something, but they certainly are capable of going anywhere that a human being is capable of going on 2 legs. And they are rushing to water to have their long-awaited drink. And I actually think this might even be the herd that we saw earlier that skipped past a cheetah or 3-in-a-row pan in order to come to the freshly pumped Cheetah Plains pan. I think the water here is cleaner, and so the little ones were extra specially thirsty. Oh, is that better, little one? Slurping up trunkfuls of water. No, that wouldn't be the plural, would it? It would be trunks full of water. And putting it into their mouths. Oh, occasionally rejecting the odd bit. This is such a beautiful scene. It really is. And at the back there, although you can't see it, because we've got the perfect combination of heights, it is definitely our elephants from earlier. There's that elephant with a half an ear that you unfortunately didn't see, but I did when they raced past. But what I was going to say was, if you look at the back, there's 2 little calves of the same age, and they were both there with a female. Oh, girls. Aren't you marvellous? Oh, almost push. There you go. Well done. Well done. There you go, Gendre. You might want to pop your VR back on again. You never know, just in case. Oh, no, never mind. I absolutely adore moments like this and sightings like this. Just time spent watching the elephants. They're always doing something interesting. There's just something fascinating about them, whether they're feeding or running or whatever it is that they happen to be up to. There's always something to be seen. And it's partly because they are probably the most intelligent animal after human beings. Debatable. After human beings. They're the most intelligent animal out here. Hello, guys. Come, little one. It's okay. It's okay. Is that better after a drink? Oh, yes, come. Come. Fish scary. Oh, no. It's a female. She's not going to come running up to us. It's all right, little one. You can calm down to a minor panic. Your mom isn't even vaguely concerned about us. Look at that, it's just spread out everywhere. I got completely distracted, and that's what I mean. An elephant's constantly doing something. Red, the phrase "an elephant never forgets." It's because one of the big reasons is it comes from this belief that because elephants are such long-lived animals, and they do have very, very long lives, comparatively, up to about 60 or so years, so almost the length of the average human. And they do have very good memories. So information will be stored in their heads about where to go in terms of finding water or food, and it's information that the elephants then use to ensure the survival, particularly for the older females, to ensure the survival of the rest of their herd. And they play an enormous role in protecting them. Will an elephant never forget something? No. Not exactly. Their brains are huge. They're 3 times the size of a person, so proportionately ours is still larger when compared to our body size, but that's still a big brain. And they have a lot of emotional development attached to it. But will they forget something? Yes, probably. Will they remember other things? Absolutely. But the phrase actually stems from elephants finding old, disused water holes and so on. There's instinctive migratory routes, there's instinctive sniffing out of water that led to this belief that elephants... In fact, it almost led to a belief that elephants can do things like have grudges against people. And yes, they'll learn. If they are badly treated, they will learn that people are bad. But if I were to accidentally come around the corner and scare an elephant, it's not going to bear a grudge against me for the rest of our existence. I hope. That would be very sad. And hello to, as always, one of our very special viewers, Sabrina, who is 12 years old. I'm so glad you are on our safari once again. Can elephants climb? Yes, to an extent. So what I meant was, when I said that elephants can go, so wherever you can walk without using your hands to pull yourself up or to grip or to grab anything, wherever you can use your legs to walk, an elephant can go. And I've found elephant dung on top of little what we call koppies, which is a sort of a mountain made of rocks. I found elephant dung at the top of there. So it's important to remember that. I've seen an elephant climb onto a tree, onto a fallen marula tree. I also once saw a little baby elephant pull itself up by its trunk, but that's a different story. So whilst they're not climbers, they do have incredibly good proprioception and an awareness of the world around them. No, Rusty. No. No. Chandra is having a quiet chuckle. Ish is right. So, well, why is it me? Why is it always me? Well, that's why the Q20's in the car, or WD-40, depending on how you want to know. We won't go with any product placement here. While I try to turn the key once again on the furthest possible spot away from home that we could possibly be, let's go across to James, who's having a good chuckle at our situation.
I am having a good chuckle, well, internally especially, because it doesn't do to laugh publicly at one's colleagues. That might be considered bad form. It is amazing to me how Rusty does that to Jamie. She's never done it to me. Many of the other cars have done strange things to me that they don't do to the others, but this particular incident I've never experienced with Rusty. I've never had the key refusing to turn. I've had many other problems with Rusty, not that particular one. Now, what we're doing is driving once again past the Gallagher waterhole, and we're going to go up Mvubu Road. I don't think anyone's done that this evening, and just see if we can't pick out what it was that the bushbuck were alarming at here at Gallagher waterhole a little bit earlier. There's a beautiful picture of a greater blue-eared glossy starling. And it's going. Did you hear it, Brian?
I don't.
Did you? Yeah. I'm going to play the call anyway. It's a wonderful call. There we go. Isn't that nice? And those colours are not nearly so green and iridescent and beautiful unless it's sitting in light hitting it at roughly this angle. Ooh, and there's a golden-tailed woodpecker. Did you hear that? I can see it there. It's in the tree there, Brian. Yeah, it's in that tree on the main stem, about two-thirds of the way up. No, not that tree, the one in front of it. That's the scraggly thing in front of us. Yes. Yes, and he's in... Go up a bit. There, you got him. He's there. Stop. Go down. Is that as far in as you can go? There he is. A little and to the right. And now he's center frame. There's the golden-tailed woodpecker. You can just see the beak moving a little bit there, everyone. There it is. Pecking away. Now, how do I know that's golden-tailed woodpecker? Because of the call. It's got a very strident, very nasal call. It's not completely unlike the call of that greater blue-eared glossy starling. There we go. Isn't that nice? There we go. I don't think we've ever had as good a view of a golden-tailed woodpecker as this. I know it's not amazing, but it's pretty good for a golden-tailed woodpecker. Let's see if it calls again. You can see why we don't see them very often. Very secretive, very beautifully hidden, flown away, gone. Not going to see it again. Very nice, Brian. Well done.
Thank you, James.
Not easy, especially at the end of your work cycle. Yes. Hello, Gracie, aged 8. You say those bull antelopes look like Indian chiefs. I think they do too, a little bit. I think that's wonderful that you've noticed that, and of course, you know that the Indian... Well, the reason they...
Oh dearie me, and it seems as though 1 minute James isn't listening and the next he is disappearing completely out of signal range. As you can see, I got Rusty started. VM taught me a technique that has proved to be marvelously effective in dealing with a jammed key. So, here we go. A mystery to be solved, or not really solved. I don't think it's so much a mystery as just an interesting little tidbit of information. One female buffalo, along with 2 males, and almost inevitably, when a female buffalo... Oh boy, what are you giving me the dirty look for? Almost inevitably, when a female buffalo is like this with 2 Duggar boys, it's because at some point the herd that she was in was chased by lions. And what happens is they get split up, and she, because of her herding instinct, she's immediately joined up with a group of males out of well, just a desire for safety. And the other day we saw just how well that worked. We came so close to having a kill on the live safari. The lionesses of the Nkuhuma pride jumped on the back of a female buffalo in exactly the same sort of situation as this. It's not her, by the way. It's definitely not the one we saw before. First of all, we're too far away, and second of all, her horns are not droopy enough. But in that scenario, the lions jumped on her and injured her, not seriously, but injured her quite badly. And the buffalo bulls actually saved her life by chasing the lionesses away. And they kept coming between the injured female and the lionesses. And since there were only 3 lionesses, they were not successful in catching them, and the buffalo made a happy escape. And that could well be what saves this female's life, although hopefully at some point she will reconnect with the breeding herd. James Richard, you'll have to forgive me. I think I'm understanding your question correctly, but there's a little bit of fuzz on the radio this afternoon. I think James is asking about the interdigital glands between the 2 halves of the hooves. Yes, a lot of antelope do have them. Not really buffalo, because they don't need them so much. They're not particularly territorial. But the territorial antelope, like the wildebeest, for example, and I think we're quite close to Gormless Norman. Is it Normless or Gorm? Never mind, I always get confused with this one. The one that Brent named, or Normal Norman. Then because they're territorial, they do have the interdigital scent glands. I'm getting information that it is Gormless Norman the Gnu. We really shouldn't let Brent name things. I don't know why you lot do it. Don't let Brent name things. His name for Benjamin Button, the little elephant calf, was old before his time, which certainly is super catchy. Yes, the blue wildebeest does have scent glands between his 2 hooves, as James Richard says, interdigital glands or pedal glands. The Steenbokkies have it, the little Duiker have it, or the territorial antelope. And there you go, there's Gnormless Gnorman the Gnu. Ridiculous. Who's in? Hands up if you're in the mood for more elephants. Okay, because they're coming this way. This is such a marvelous day. Elephants on the clearings. I wish they'd arrived just as the sun was still up. That would have been a marvelous picture. But this is still truly spectacular. What a peaceful way to spend one's afternoon. And we so often have our close-up sightings of the elephants. It's not always that we stop and view them from a distance and just take in the scene as a whole. Here's another elephant I've seen before. Awesome. Absolutely stunning. We've seen so many different elephants today. It's definitely been an elephant-filled Thursday. And Abhishek, I know that you asked this question and I completely forgot to answer it a while ago, but now we have an opportunity once again. In terms of how fast an elephant can run, they can reach a top speed of 15 meters, 45 feet per second. That's fast. They go very, very fast. They might not look it, but they are capable of urging that tremendous bulk into very rapid forward movement. Now that equates to roughly sort of around 50 kilometers an hour, which is, what is that? I'm so bad with mile conversions. It's about, is it 30 miles per hour?
50 kilometers an hour.
50 kilometers an hour, 30 miles, yeah, roughly 30 miles-ish per hour. Sorry if you are from a place that uses miles. I'm much better with kilometers.
31.6.
Thank you very much. Andre is obviously clearly far better than I am. 31.6. Right. That definitely put me in my place. down to the decimal point. Chandra then says roughly. Let's go with meters per second. 15 meters per second, alternately 45 feet per second. They can't maintain that for a huge amount of time, but they do cover ground very, very fast. Oh, little ones. This is elephants of all sizes, and look at that. There's another herd on its way. It's getting ridiculous. It's the little ones that were drinking at Cheetah Plains Pan. The twins, 2 Ellie calves of the same age. And it's not impossible that they are twins, you know. It's unlikely, but not impossible. There you go, Barry Edwards. Yes, elephants do have twins. It's very, very rare that an elephant will have twins, but it does occur. I couldn't give you an exact percentage, but I will tell you that it's very low. It's so unusual that it becomes something that is it becomes very public knowledge when an elephant is recorded to have twins, just because it's something that hardly ever happens. The same goes for giraffe as well. Once upon a time it was thought that giraffe twins were very common. It's now known that it hardly ever happens, but it can occur. And a larger animal species like elephants, rhinoceros, hippopotamus, they tend to be very much a solitary offspring. Oh wow. I'll just stop here for a quick snack on a marula tree that's gone very green very quickly. It's unusual for this time of year. Well, it's part of the digestive system and the amount of roughage that they eat. And most likely a pregnant female with her 22-month gestation period will need to drink a little bit more water than usual. But I don't think that you'd notice it. I don't think she sort of rushes backwards and forwards to go and have a drink. Although, a close on 200-pound baby, I'm sure she urinates more frequently. Such beautiful imagery. Right. I think we're done now. Oh, what you chasing, little elephant? This one here. Oh, are you chasing Gormless Norman? No, man. Brent. It's ridiculous. The elephant is chasing the wildebeest. Gormless Gnorman the canoe. There we go. Fine, I got it. Sort of. And look, they do look a little bit like twins. Very, very unlikely, but they're about the right size. They're the same size as each other, and they've been with that mom the whole time. It's not impossible. It really isn't. I wonder. When we first arrived at Cheetah Plains Pan, they were together with her. They're still together with her, even though the rest of the herd is elsewhere. Might just be that it's nice to have a companion of their own age, or a similar age. I don't know. I'm hesitant to try and claim that they're twins. Might be a bit of a stretch. Our little Ellie Bull thinking about chasing our wildebeest friend. Gormless, oh for goodness sake, never mind. I really was going to genuinely try there, but I give up. Poor old Gorman. And that is something that little bull elephants do. Makes them feel big and strong and scary. prepping them for the time where they really will be big and strong and scary. Honing that attitude. Take no nonsense. Careful, Gnorman. You're being snorked. That didn't work either. Sorry. Chandra is laughing at least. It makes me feel a bit better. I suppose we should think about, I don't actually even know what the time is anymore, but I suppose we should think about going to search as the sun starts to go down for the elusive potential brown hyena that might be around here. I mean, that is a very brave even suggestion for myself to make, but I'm really keeping my fingers crossed I might be right about that. What I should have done was asked Mike, or Ephraim, actually Ephraim probably, he's been here longer, whether or not they have ever seen a brown hyena here. Now, as our massive true kings of the African bush, or queens in this case, move off into Mala Mala, let's go back across to James, who has got something very large, but definitely not grey.
Well, brown hyena she might be able to find. If anyone can do it, Jamie can. We're back at the lions, everyone. And the male, you can see, is lying. He's thinking about getting up. And the reason he's thinking about getting up is that the females have just moved off to the north. And so what I think we're going to do is go towards them, simply because I think he will get up eventually and move towards them. So we'll get a view of him. Yeah, he's looking their way. So we'll try and follow up on the female. There's Herbie's there driving. He's actually guiding some guests today. Watch out, everybody. Watch your heads. Don't forget to look behind. Just try and reverse out of here. And I must just tell you, everyone, that the clutch on this car is threatening to go at any stage. So while I may have never had trouble with a key on Rusty, I've had many other troubles, like I said, in the clutch on this vehicle, a particular one. Now, the females have just gone off through here, so we'll see if we can find them again. Just walked through here. It's quite thick, so I didn't want to go blasting in there after them. Can you see them at all, Brian? And I think they're probably going to go north into Beefle's Hook. They, of course, you know, they get up and then they sort of lie down, and then they get up and they lie down. Have you got them? Up ahead. Ah, yes, here they come. Beautiful Lionesses, and just look at them moving. Look at their colour as we stop here. Look at their colour walking through this winter vegetation. Isn't it perfect? You can see exactly why they're this colour. And that's a lovely picture of them. Beautifully hidden, totally stealthy, completely silent. And that big male, I think, is going to come out. She's of the lactating female. Where she's left her youngsters, I don't know. The usual story, Brian?
The usual story.
Thinking about going to the loo is what Brian means by that. Every time we look at an animal together, it decides to void its bowels. Getting some support from her sisters. Let's go further forward. Just go around the corner. They are probably going to cross into Biffle's Hook, everyone, like I say, which is the reserve to the north of us, if you're wondering what that is. I'm going to go all the way around the front here. And we'll just get a view of the sun also setting. It should pop out on the road now in front of us here. Can you see them at all, Brian? Are we going, should we stop, or a little bit further forward, just the other side of this Balanites tree? You got them there, Brian? There we go. Here they come, everyone. There they come. They're about to come onto the fire break now. I'm just giving an update there on the radio. Affirmative, due north. Let me just go a little bit forward, everyone. I think we might get them. They're on a game path. Game path, of course, very obvious sort of natural animal road that is particularly obvious at this time of the year. And I don't think they're hunting yet because they haven't fanned out. Here's the game path here that they are on. There we go. Look at them coming through the bush there. Isn't that lovely? And the male is now following. Herbie's still with the male. Now they are fanning a little bit. There's one female behind. That's the lactating female. Isn't this wonderful? It's so lovely seeing lions move. And that's Amber Eyes there. Look at her orange eyes. Hello. Wonderful. Alright, let me move. Stations, these 3 animals have now crossed the fire break, going due north. Let's try and get around a bit. Elephants have made such a mess here. They're at the Gallagher shortcut junction. Elephants. There they go. There we go. There's my little friend Amber Eyes. That's her yawning at the back there. It's been a dreadfully tiring day. They're going straight into Buffelshoek. That road in front there is Buffelshoek boundary. I don't know if you have any idea how big they are, everybody, but they stand about 1.5 meters at the shoulder, so about 4 feet. They're quite tall, and they're certainly much bigger than any dog you've ever seen. About 120 kilograms for a really big lioness, like Amber Eyes, and 120 kilograms, about 240 pounds. So they're not small. Now the male is going to come up through these copper-colored trees shortly. So we'll just stand by here for him. But there go the females. They also have now crossed into Buffelshoek, about 50 meters to the west of the Buffelshoek sign there. And look how beautifully hidden they are. What a perfect color they are. And Roger, you are wondering about what they're eating, basically. You say, have there been any further kills since that big kill that we had on Buffelshoek the other day? There was reports of 3 lionesses killing another buffalo on Buffelshoek 2 days ago, and there's some confusion as to whether that was the Nkuhuma pride or the Talamati pride, which comes in from Kruger and from the north of Buffelshoek, so I'm not sure who that was. But otherwise, no. And these guys look hungry. They didn't finish that buffalo. Slugding. Okay. Herbie's just saying the male is on its way. So we'll sit right here where we are. I'm just looking behind there while Brian tries to show you the last glimpses of the female. They lay down. Go yours. Not yet, no. Yes, we're still waiting for him. That's yours just asking if the male has come across. He will follow them. We just got to give him a little bit of time. He is, of course, quite a lazy fellow. Now, Zoomy Mike in Michigan, you ask a very good question about coalitions, and you say, why is it that they have split up? Why would they not stay together? Surely the idea of a coalition, or the whole point of a coalition, is that you stay together and remain strong and you'd be able to dominate an area together. The coalition hasn't broken up. They spend less time with each other than other coalitions I've seen, but they're still in a coalition, they're still maintaining... I just thought I heard him moving there. They're still maintaining the same territory that all four of them will maintain together. So it's not like the coalition's broken up at all. Maybe it could be safer and more effective if they stayed in twos. We won't know that until a challenge comes, until other males move into this area and try and sort of challenge them for the territory. But at the moment it's fine. They're marking the same areas. They kind of split the territory up between them, and you know, the coalition itself is still strong. Well, this male has not come. So let's go a little bit further forward. We might be lucky. Hello Kurt, you're a new viewer and it's wonderful to have you with us. Thank you for joining us, and thank you especially for asking us a question. You want to know why it is... sorry, there's something stuck under the wheel here. Why it is that lions have got a black tip to the ears. They've got a black tip to the ears, Kurt, because it helps them to follow each other through this bush. Now, we watched them going through that quite thick bush, and you'll notice there are two colours that are absent from that area. One is white, the other is black. And so black is a really good colour if you want to have a following mechanism. It's the same reason that the black tail tip is black, so that they can follow that as they walk through the thick bush. I don't know where he is. I mean, Herbert pretty much followed him back up here. Right, and as Louise says, while we're waiting for this lazy male to arrive, let's head across to Jamie and get an update from her.
Oof. Well, we've definitely found the spot on Cheetah Plains where our communications come through rather crackly, but that's okay. I believe we are live, and you have arrived at the perfect time, because this is where, or close to where, I saw the suspected, I mean, I'm willing to put my hands up and say I'm not 100% sure, but suspected brown hyena track. Unfortunately, no brown hyenas, but it's the perfect time of day for them, and you never know. I think that is something that would make me truly very excited out on the end of our sunset safari. It would be absolutely marvellous. It's totally worth being out on Cheetah Plains, very far from home at this time of evening, just to keep an eye out for them. You know, Genre, not to put too fine a point on it, but Dave did spot a pangolin here. So, no pressure. Perhaps the brown hyena will be Genre's crowning glory.
Perhaps James will invite us to his party.
That's true. Perhaps James shall invite us to the party apparently he was blithely singing away about. Didn't even know there was a party going on. I'm deeply insulted. Ah, they didn't invite the brown hyena either. Or he hasn't got the memo. And there is no sign of our brown hyena. Apparently FC didn't get an invite either. It perhaps might be a party with just Brian and James, which admittedly would be thoroughly entertaining. Over to James, who's got the male line.
We had the male, unfortunately, he just popped out, now he's going into Buffelshoek. I'm going to quickly turn around so we can get a view, but that's going to be it. Anyway, it's so wonderful to see them standing up. They are magnificent creatures. And there he goes. He's sort of walking resentfully after the ladies. And if you want to see what a fresh lion track looks like, we'll show you shortly. He's smelling where they've gone. We've had a couple of questions lately about whether or not animals are able to kind of follow each other's tracks on sight. I don't believe they can. I think it's largely done on smell, and I think that's what he's doing there, is smelling where they have walked. Ngala. Terrila. Oh. Yeah, he's just herding the lions. Herbie and I heard the lions growling. That's very, I don't know if you heard it, low, throaty growl. Why he would have been growling. Yours, the male's just crossed north, same place, 50 metres to the east of the sign, west of the sign, sorry. Anyway, that's going to be our lion sighting, everybody. Yeah, well, if you come straight to where you can see us now, you might get a brief visual. Hi, Herbie. Yeah, north and slightly east. So I'm just trying to help yours get in here. Now, just have a look there, everybody, on the ground. And I'm not going to get out of the car because there are lions there everywhere. That is the male lion track. In fact, I probably can get out. If I get attacked, Brian, will you tell everyone?
I'll show everyone.
Show everybody, yes. That's a good idea.
Careful, James.
Just want to show you the size. There's my hand. I'm not a very large fellow, but I'm not that small. And you can see that the lion's track is pretty much the same size as my hand, slightly smaller, of course. There, maybe the top joints of my fingers missing, he'd have roughly the same size track. Not a big lion, not a small lion, but I'd say slightly smaller than average. So that's quite interesting, and that's his track there. I'm actually quite impressed that my hand's bigger than his. Okay, we'll head into the sunset here and then down the western fringes of Djuma and see what we can see that way. Jelly, you say you're surprised that nothing alarm called at those lions as they walked through the bush. There were two birds alarm calling. There were some fork-tailed drongos there going, and they were alarm calling at the lions. But none of the others, there weren't any other animals to be alarm calling at them. So there weren't any impala, there weren't any kudru or anything like that, and that's why they weren't alarming. If there had been an antelope or something like that, absolutely they would have alarm called at him and at the females. We'll just try and get you a view of the mountains here because we don't have a huge amount of signal in this area. And Ginny, in the UK, you say, do any of the predators have an alarm call? That's a really good question. Why do you look at the mountains? Or have I got them too many sticks there? Let me go a little bit forward, everyone. No, I don't think predators do have an alarm call. Their alarm call is to growl, basically, is to say, stay away from me. That's what they do. I suppose wild dogs do have a little bit of an alarm call. They've got like a, oh, which is a sort of a bark to say, stay away. But I don't think any of the others have got an alarm call, no. It's an interesting one. It's more like a warning, a growl. There we are. Now you can see the mountains silhouetted by the last embers. Very beautiful indeed. And that skyline, so indicative of this area, the Hoedspruit sort of a skyline if you like. Many memories watching that skyline at this time of the day. I'm just listening. I can hear some impala alarm calling. Let's try and get a position for where they're calling. Yes, it sounds to me like they're on Sandy Patch, which is not too far from here. So I'm going to drive down there. Luisi, I don't think we're going to have signal as we turn onto that road, but we'll try. And in fact, let's go in there.
Oh, from a stunning sunset view to a journey on through Cheetah Plains. The temperature has dropped significantly. Jandre and myself... No, actually, Jandre, have you got a jacket on? Oh, you do, sort of. Piddly jacket. Jandre is very stoic in the face of cold. I am not very stoic. Do you see that? Right in the middle there. In the middle of the spotlight.
On the grass or?
On the grass.
Damn.
What have we got here? Go right a little bit.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah.
Serval! Hey, hey! How exciting is that? Absolutely awesome. Hey guys, how many of you have spotted the serval? Can you see it there? Ah, yes! Actually, it's almost clear if I take the spotlight down a bit. Have a look there. You can see it. The medium-sized spotted cats. Yay! This is so exciting. Absolutely awesome. It's so exciting. I love seeing serval. They are absolutely one of the coolest little cats and very, very rare. So what you're seeing, if you're a new first-time viewer, we only see once every couple of months. It's basically like a little mini cheetah with a very powerful spring. And this one is beautifully relaxed. Ah, this is so marvelous. How awesome is that? I knew those ears didn't look like a Deka or a Steenbok. Absolutely epic. This is the most relaxed serval in the world. And this is why nighttime in winter is just the best time to be out in the bush. You get all sorts of these sightings. In summer we would never have seen it. And she were probably sleeping there the whole day. And it's only because of the reflection of the eye that I was able to spot it. This might be one of the best serval sightings ever, just in terms of how relaxed it is. They are generally quite relaxed at night with the spotlight. Less so during the day. This is so cool. How's that, Jandre? Might not have been a cheetah, but we did find a serval. Hello, gorgeous. With your enormous ears. I'm really hoping, while we sit with it, that it's going to stand up and give you a view of its long, slender body. I said it's a medium-sized cat. What I mean by that is it is probably shoulder height coming up to just above my knee. There we go, there we go, there we go. Oh, just getting more comfortable. This is so cool. Apparently James Richard was hoping for a serval sighting today, and we have provided one. Absolutely. I was hoping for a brown hyena, but I certainly am not going to turn my nose up at a serval. What I am going to do, If Chandra stays sort of on it. Oh no, hold on, it's moving. It spotted something. It's going to pounce. Is it going to pounce? Oh no, it's eating something. I wonder if it's got a kill. Oh, sorry. Try and keep my spotlight steady. It definitely appears to be eating something. I'm just going to reposition the spotlight ever so slightly so that it misses it entirely. That's not what I meant to do. Trying to change the angle. Definitely appears to be feeding on it. Whatever it's caught. It could be a bird. It could be a small rodent. They are phenomenal jumpers and incredibly good hunters. Oh, I cannot hold the spotlight up like this indefinitely. It's definitely not going to work. Let's try and find a way of repositioning it. Okay. That tree is just in the way. This is epic. A serval with a kill. This is definitely the way to go. And Aaron, yes, this does, I think, complete my cat collection apart from the caracal. So this isn't actually the first serval we've seen live. We had one on Zoe's Road. We've had a couple of them over time, but probably, as I said, once every couple of months. But Aaron, yes, this, apart from the caracal, I have seen every single cat it's possible to see out on drive, I think. Trying to think if I've missed one. No, the caracal is the only one I need to add to my collection. They're all members of the felid family, the caracal and the serval. Caracal is like a little bob, it's the South African equivalent of a bobcat. The serval is something entirely different. About twice or three times, twice the height, maybe 3 times the weight of your average domestic house cat. That's why we call it a medium-sized cat. And since this one is relaxed, I'm going to brave repositioning. Trying to work out exactly where it is. Djuma. If it hadn't been looking at us, I would never have seen it to start with. But I'm going to try, because I can actually hear it crunching. Okay, it's watching us, but it hasn't moved. It's still there. I'm just going to shuffle forward a little bit. I'm trying to think if forward or back is going to work. How's your view there, Genre? Or is it non-existence? Okay. So maybe where we were was the best. Sorry, say that again?
Maybe if we just stick our nose in slightly over there.
Okay. Let us try. Just want to make sure it's still there.
Yeah.
It is still there. This is so cool. Absolutely awesome. You can see it there. As subtle as a leopard. There is a road just in front of me. Oh, there we go. That's actually, this is fine. Let's not get greedy. And I'm scared of scaring it off, which would be utterly tragic. Although, I think with the kill, it is going to stay. I wonder what it's eating. It's actually quite large. I can hear the skin crunching. Diane, they eat a very varied diet from francolin, lots of different bird species, eggs, amphibians, rodents, and scrub hares. I would not be at all surprised if this one hadn't caught a scrub hare. Okay, I've decided I'm gonna try and reposition. I'm gonna watch it. It's very relaxed. It's feeding. It does look up every time we turn the engine on. We're a lot closer than we were. I'm just going to wait for it to relax. Hello. It's okay. It's okay. Promise that's as close as we're going to get. This is awesome. I hope you guys are all getting screenshots. I'm going to give it another minute to see if it relaxes. If it doesn't stop looking at us, then we're going to back away. So we're just going to keep speaking. We're not trying to sneak up on you, buddy. It's all good. It's okay. Here we go. That's what we're looking for. A little bit of change in body language. Licking its lips. Looking away from us. Okay, that's sort of what we're looking for. Signs that it is relaxing into our presence. This is so cool. This must be one of the longest serval sightings we've had. It's been a long time since I've seen a serval with a kill. Very long time, long before my time at Wild Earth. Absolutely epic. And Michael, absolutely, if Brent found serval tracks in this area, this could well be the serval that made them. So they do stick to their little areas. That's why we regularly see one along Zoe's Road. There's one that lives around the Mulwati drainage. Guys, as awesome as this is, unless this cat starts to feed... thank you. There we go. I was about to say, if it doesn't start to feed soon, I'm going to leave. Or pull away a little bit, just because it didn't want to affect its behavior, but it's eating now. So that's perfect. And as awesome as these moments are, it's really important that we approach them with as much caution as we would show for any of the animals. Now, Michael, yes, it could well be the same serval. It's entirely possible. And just like our lions and our leopards, just on a smaller scale, they have their own home ranges and territories. I can't get over this. This is so cool. I wish we could see what it's feeding on, but I'm sure it's something like a scrub hare. Oh, it's heard something. That just goes to show, you never know what you can expect out here. This is so cool. We can even, I'm going to be quiet. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it, but we can try. You can hear it chewing. Could you hear that at all, Legendre?
Maybe just.
Maybe just. Ow. My spotlight's getting so hot it's burning my fingers. It's okay, it's totally worth it for this incredible sighting. Wow. This may actually be one of the longest I've ever spent with a truly wild serval. With a non-habituated serval. And he or she probably had just made a kill when we drove up. And well done to everyone who is sending through their screenshots. This is absolutely magical. I will have a look at it when Brent returns back to camp this evening with my phone, which he has. But I'll definitely be looking at your screenshots later. This is absolutely absolutely marvelous. This for us, and I don't want to compare things, but a sighting like this that is as rare as it is just the most incredible experience. We get so excited about it, more so than maybe I shouldn't compare it. It's not a competition. Oh, look at that. It's okay. Aren't you beautiful? Can't get over how close the servals let us get, and it stayed. Oh, I really hope this is a serval that we start to see regularly on Cheetah Plains. If it gets used to our presence, you can see I'm keeping my voice down. I'm not shouting, but I'm not whispering either, and I'm doing that very deliberately. I wanted to get used to the sound of our voice, but at the same time not feel threatened by it, and also not pretending that I'm trying to sneak up on it. Okay, we're going to stay with our serval. However, it is James's last drive before he does go on leave, so I'm going to send you over to him so that he can say goodbye, and we'll be back with you shortly.
Bye! Say bye, Brian.
Goodbye!
That would be very rude of us. So we won't do that, everybody. We don't want to keep you away from that serval, even though our egos are stung by the fact that Jamie's found so much and, well, we've not found as much. Brian, thank you for all your efforts this work cycle. Thank you to Pinchy Wine, the thumb for the day, and of course to the final controller and all the ladies, the technical crew, and mostly to all of you for all of your very kind comments and words and questions that spark so much joy and enthusiastic conversation. Thank you very much to all of you. There's some flying things around here. We'll see you in, 2 weeks' time. Until then, enjoy the serval and the rest of the safari. Bye-bye.
Back to our marvelous serval, who is still here and still feeding. And of course, we will all miss James tremendously, but wish him the absolute best on his holiday. And when he comes back, he can try and top the serval that we've had tonight. This is absolutely marvelous. What a truly spectacular way to end off our sunset safari. Chandra, you know you and I are only going to be back well after, quite possibly after midnight at this point.
We're going to miss the party.
We're going to miss the party, but it's definitely worth it. It is totally worth it.
Absolutely.
Moments like this are rare indeed. And yes, absolutely, Christina. So, our leopards and our cheetah, we always speak about them having a unique... Oh, and our spotted hyena, actually. Having a unique pattern of spots that is like a fingerprint to each individual. And Christina, absolutely, while I rest my spotlight holding arm, swap arms quickly, absolutely the serval do have unique spot patterns that would identify them. Each and every individual is different. So if we look, it's going to be very difficult with the view we've got, but definitely get your screenshot fingers ready in case our serval does stand up, and then we'll be able to identify this particular individual if we ever come upon it again in the future. Oh, I'm so excited. This is definitely really cool. Absolutely marvelous. Valerie in Pennsylvania, I tried to get you to listen to the crunches of the serval chewing, but of course we haven't really got a good idea of its vocalizations. Valerie, very, very good question. Obviously it's not a roaring cat, it doesn't roar like a leopard or a lion, but it chirps, kind of like what a cheetah does. It's capable of making sort of grrr. Well, that sounded a bit like a scops owl, that wasn't what I meant. sort of a chirping sound. They hiss, they can scream or yodel. That's almost like the sound of your domestic house cat when they are having a confrontation or something similar. They do have a relatively, sort of the standard felid vocal range but they're not hugely vocal cats. It's only when they're mating or a mother communicating with her cubs, or perhaps they've encountered another serval in their area. It's only really in those situations that they start to vocalize. So they don't vocalize to mark territory in the same way that leopards or lions do. They're very, very different from the Panthera genus. And as Aaron pointed out, we definitely now need to add a caracal to our list. One last look, everybody, at our gorgeous serval as we come to the end of our sunset safari. And we do, of course, have the usual thank yous to make. A thank you to Gendre for his fantastic camera work as always, as well as to Lou and to the lovely Kirsty and Jerry in Final Control. As our lovely Jerry in Final Control, sorry. I think Kirsty is having the afternoon off. Most of all, thank you to all of you. I don't want to distract you for too long. I want your sort of last images of this particular sunset safari. I hope you enjoyed it. It has been a marvelous evening. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye, everybody.